like this number. Don't you know he's listening? The 13. He's here.
You have entered the 13, a place where real stories about music, touring, and the beyond are told. Music does something to us. We all experience it in our own way. It can affect our senses, transport us through time, and release emotions. On this podcast, we will talk with people about the power of music and the beyond. What does the beyond mean? Let's find out together. Turn on your metronomes because this time is about to be tracked. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 13. I'm your host, Ryan 13, and yes, I don't have a mustache. Don't let that affect anything, and you listeners probably will never, ever know that I even had one. But today on the show, we have Shannon from Branded for Exile and a lot of other bands. Shannon, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you, dude. We haven't actually laid eyes on each other in
a long time.
15, 16 years.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So for a little bit backstory, I played in a band called Razr 13. Shannon played in a band called Black Market Halos. Again, a lot of other stuff. We needed a lead singer. And Shannon came, he was the man for the job. He was the first person we thought, and he came in and filled in for us, didn't fill in. He came and joined the band for a little while, and we had a good little run. And
yes, lots of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and we'll get into that in a little while. But, Shannon, for people who may not know more than what I just told them, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, born and raised in Louisiana. I started singing when I was about 15 years old. I did my first live show. I wasn't even old enough to be in the bar, but the bar owner was like, "We're going to let you in, do your thing and get out." I'm a father, husband, worker, a little bit of everything, man. Just enjoying life.
Right on, brother. What bands? So out of all the bands that you've been in, which ones are active or like maybe dormant active? Because I know I have dormant active bands. Like we're not doing anything, but we're still together.
All right. So like Black Market Halos hasn't done anything since 2012.
Okay.
But we are currently talking about doing a Black Market reunion show because awesome. the fans are asking for it.
Right.
It's been over 10 years and they want to hear the music again.
Yeah,
Wicked River Rising hasn't played since right before COVID hit. We played in February before the March when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we've been on hiatus ever since, but we are reactivating in September.
Okay.
Branded for Exile, I have actively been in that band since November of 2019 up until now. And we are finally recording the album and trying to have it ready by October so we can get it out there for the masses. I also am part of a studio band called Damned It All with a couple really cool local guys and the drummer from Fear Factory. Yeah. That kind of like the guy didn't tell me that it was him until after I did my recordings, and then he blew my mind. But yeah, really? 4 bands, man. It takes up a lot of time, but it's absolutely a lot of fun. My whole thing is I just want to put out as much music as I can, as long as I can.
I love it, dude. I love it. And you know that thing about like meeting people and then like not knowing that like who they were right away.
Right.
That happened to me with a guy named Ben Carroll. He's the guitar player for a band called Raw. And I jumped on this podcast and the host was having it wasn't mine. It was another podcast. The host was having trouble actually joining the podcast. His internet went out. And so I'm talking to this other guy I was on the podcast with. His name's Ben Carroll. Nothing registered. I was sitting there looking at him like, that guy kind of looks familiar. And I'm being like the total douchebag who's name dropping stuff. Like, yeah, I've toured with King's X and, went on Skid Row and whatever. And he was like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
And then that show never ended up happening because the internet never worked for that particular host. And then I jumped on another podcast with the same guy and the host later. And I realized he was the guitar player from Raw, which is one of my favorite bands. And I was like, Ben, I'm sorry. I'm a douche. Like name dropping like it was going out of style, trying to give me some street cred.
Jeez.
I know. Sometimes you do certain things. All right, brother. So you are finally recording the album. Is the album done? Is it in post-production, pre-production?
Okay, so as of yesterday, the album is at OCD recording and production in Metairie, Louisiana. It's the same guy that works with like Crowbar and
Nice.
Exorder and
Yeah.
bands of that nature. It is currently in the mixing and mastering stage.
Dude, that's so cool. We know the guys from Crow. Well, I don't really know the guys from Crowbar, but some of my friends do. But I know the guys from X Order. Marzi
Yes,
was playing with X Order not too long
I
ago.
know. I met Marzi when I was singing for you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Old
Yeah,
Marzi. He's a good guy. He's
yeah.
been on the show too. I hope to have him on again soon.
Marzi's cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Okay, so let's go into some music stuff. And let's
Okay,
go because this is, the 13. Let's talk about Razr 13 and talk about how this came to be from each of our point of views.
right,
Because I was the bass player in the band. And I'll start with this. I'll start with my side. Me and Boss has exited the band.
right,
Boss has been on the podcast before. So Boss exits the band, and we're like, who are we going to get? We got to get somebody that can sing and put some power behind this.
right.
And we walked around that little house in well, it wasn't little, but that house in Marlin for days.
I still
And
talk about that house, man.
it's a great house, or it was.
Right,
I don't even, I think it's still there. I think it was J-Rab. J-Rab was like, what about Shannon? I was like, do you think he'd go for it? He was like, well, I mean, we can ask,
yeah,
and like that. I was like, fucking ask, you know?
yeah,
And then I don't really remember how it all, I didn't really have any say in anything. I was just the bass player.
right.
And then all of a sudden one day you were
Flying to
at
Texas.
flying the Texas at the house and fucking crushing songs right away. What's your memory of it?
So, J Rab hit me up and he's like, I got a proposition for you. And I'm like, I'm okay, what's up? I know one thing is being a musician for Louisiana. We know that it's very hard to break out of Louisiana. So I looked at being in Razor as an opportunity to break out of Louisiana and
Yeah,
maybe have an opportunity in the Texas scene because,
sure.
Texas has always been great for metal. So, um, I, basically J Rab told me Doc was offering me, plane fare back and forth, whatever I needed while I was there, and sending me home with cash in my pocket. I couldn't turn it down. I'm
Yeah,
like, this sounds like something that's going to be fun, and it's an opportunity not only to help you guys out, but to help me out as well, and maybe black market in the process.
absolutely.
So, I talked to my guys, and they were all cool. So I was like, shit, let's get on a plane. Um, Going out there, I mean, I automatically recognize the potential. You know what I'm saying? And that was the main reason I went in the first place, is because there's a lot of potential there. I really enjoyed all the times we had, all the shows we played, the people we met along the way. Um, it kind of sucks that it ended the way that it did, but you know, things happen.
Yeah, dude, things happen. And for everybody who hasn't heard any of the other episodes where we talk about Doc was the main supporter of Razr 13 from the very beginning. His son was Big Mike, and Doc loved and believed in Big Mike and us, the guys in Razor 13, so much that he put a lot of money behind us, with singers, with touring, renting tour buses, whatever. He's the one who
Absolutely.
helped us get our name out there. And then like later on when Doug Pennick joined the band, helped facilitate that, even though Doug was the one who was like, I'll join, fuck it. Like then Doc helped do that. Doc was the man. He was the reason he was the reason for Razor 13's existence. He was also the one who ended up writing all of the lyrics to the record. There are no lyrics by anybody else but Doc on that album. So anyway, jumping back into this. So then you showed up super prepared. I remember, like you
Right.
remembered Texas pound cake, or you learned Texas pound cake.
Right.
Oh, and what was I command? Those songs aren't even on the records.
Let me tell you something. My main focus when I got there was I flew into Austin
Mm-hmm.
and we went to that studio
Yep.
and I
What was that studio? It was Paul Sorosky's studio, whatever it was called, the Rock Army Record Studio.
walked in the studio and he's like, yeah, kind of him hawing around. And I'm like, oh, no,
Walrus
no.
Records, Walrus Records.
It's
Anyway,
like,
sorry.
look, I'm not here to him haw. I wrote lyrics to Rage and I want to do them today.
Yeah.
So I went in there. He put everything on. I started singing. His eyes got about that big around. He's like, God damn, this boy can sing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
dude. Here's a clip from Rage, by the way. I'll play it at the end of the show, but I'm going to play you a clip right now.
Feel the rage. Yeah. Giant, so to speak, inflicted pain his life, destroying all the weak. There's no place you can run. A beast let out of his cage. Domination's begun. It's time to feel the
yeah, man, and I mean, it was pretty awesome. I mean, I'm a big wrestling fan, or I was at the time, and it's like, yeah, this dude's gonna use this to come in to wrestle. And my brother's a huge wrestling fan, so him and I are actually we collaborated on the lyrics together to make sure that it was cohesive and it fit.
Right.
And that was really fun.
It was I like it was one of the I was like, hey, I'm on this song. I was like, show, and it only ever was a demo, everybody. So what you've just heard and what you'll hear is it's not totally finished, but it's a great sounding demo. And we were like, I was just like, hey guys, listen to this. Hey guys, listen to this. Everybody I ran into, I'm like, I played bass on this, and I might not have even played bass on the demo. I don't even remember, but it was a great song. When we would play it live,
powerful,
dude.
That's all I remember.
25.
Yeah.
A giant, so to speak. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought behind that song, man. So I was ready to rip it as soon as I hit Texas soil.
And you did. And it was awesome. Oh my God. I'm going to put some photos here. We went and did a photo shoot somewhere at some dude's house, some photography dude's house. He set us up in front of a background. And we're all like, I was like trying to look hard. I like had a Heineken in my hand or something.
Yeah, and I forgot my bandana at home, and I had to wear a white bandana, and I hated it. I hate white.
I do. I don't like white either. I'm actually starting to get into a place in life where it's not terrible.
I mean,
I was talking to Brandon Thomas from the podcast Expanding Reality, and he was telling me about how to diffuse my the little selfie circles you got that do lighting. I got one right over there. That's the thing currently whiting me out a little too much.
Right.
He said, just take a white t-shirt and put it over the top of it. It'll diffuse the light and it'll be better. And I said, okay, cool. Hang on. And I went to the bedroom and I didn't come back for like 20 minutes. And I came back and I was like, sorry that took so long. I don't have any white shirts.
That's great.
I don't. I have one now. And it's on that.
So yeah, man. I mean, look, I had a lot of good time in Razr. The only thing that bothered me, obviously, I have 3 small children at home. Sure. I have a job that my boss is being really cool to let me leave a week at a time to go do Razr 13, and Doc's paying all this money. And the one thing he was asking for is if when I'm in town, he wanted us to practice twice a week.
Yep.
And it always seemed like every time I came in, we'd hang out all week. We wouldn't practice till Friday and then play the show Saturday, and then I'd come home Sunday. And that just, I called Doc and I'm like, listen, man, I don't want to waste your time and your money. If you get everything straight to where I know for sure I'm coming in and we're going to practice and get this really honed out so we can kick the scene in the ass, then I'll be glad to come back.
And that didn't pan out. And I don't remember it that way, but at the same time, I was also there. I was paid, to be in the band.
Right.
He paid for that apartment, paid for my groceries.
Right.
Just for me to be in Waco, so I could be at rehearsal whenever rehearsal would happen. It started out like we were rehearsing, I felt like almost every day with Boss, or maybe it was every other day or something.
Right.
That was my job. I was like, fuck yeah, when are we doing this? Let's go. I'm
Well,
ready.
look, when before I got off the phone with Doc, I said, like, listen, if it doesn't work out, Razr doesn't get to where they're practicing as much as you want and moving along like you want to. If you want to sink some money into somebody, I trust me, I have a band that you can sink some money into sitting at
Right.
home,
Right.
because for better or worse, Black Market is one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, I love that band, dude. I
12 years,
still
man.
got the albums right in here.
12 years is a long time, brother.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
we were brothers. I mean, and still to this day, we never actually broke up. We went on a kind of permanent hiatus. There's a lot of things that went on around 2010 to 2012. I got divorced.
Sure.
Our drummer kind of slipped off back into the drugs,
Yeah.
which is really sucks. Our guitar player had just bought a brand new house, so they wasn't able to spend as much money and go out and party like they used to.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we kind of had to pump the brakes, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And we haven't done anything since 12. 12 was the last time we did anything, and I miss it absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad y'all are starting to think about ramping them back up and doing some reunion shows
No, I
at
mean, we
least.
got together twice already and jammed, and let me tell you something. It's like we never left the room. It was so
I
awesome.
love it. So did the guys just remember the stuff, or they go back and play to the CDs a couple times, or
I'm not sure. I know when they got in that room, they was ripping it. Like
dude,
they missed it just as much as I did.
that's awesome. Like I have tabs that Big Mike wrote me, and I have obviously the CD and lots of other demos for all of our other songs, because there's like
Right.
30 other Razor 13 songs that never made it out to the public. I've been ready to go. Razor 13, we were going to do a reunion, a 10-year reunion
Right.
since the album was released in 2009, and like the very end of 2009. And so that coincided basically with the plague that happened in 2020.
That sucks. Yeah.
And so it kind of ruined that.
Right.
This year is the 13th year since it's been released, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
everybody's got things to do, and we were kind of also in the same boat where nobody said nobody to my knowledge said we were done.
Right.
Kind of like, I got to go do this, and then someone was like, yeah, I got to go do this, and then life happened.
Yeah, and for anybody that wants to hear the Black Market Halo stuff, it is on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and also Bandcamp. If you
Yeah.
go on Bandcamp, the cool thing about if you get it off of Bandcamp, all the lyric pages are there, so
Oh,
you can
cool.
get all the lyrics and stuff.
Dude, right on.
Yeah.
Man.
Cleansing, that second album for Black Market, it's called Cleansing for a reason. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage, a lot of stuff that I carried around for a long time that I was able to just put into these songs and finally clear my chest, I guess you would say. You know what I'm saying? And it felt good.
Hell
Yep.
yeah, dude. What time frame? I know you said, I guess it's on their time, but like, what do you think time frame for the Branded for Exile? Like maybe a release, or are you guys just waiting to see? And
We're shooting for October.
okay,
Yeah,
dude.
we want to do a Halloween CD release party.
Hell yeah, I love that.
Yeah. We always do a Halloween show every year, so we might as well just combine two great things at once.
Dude, that's so awesome. That'll be fun. Where would you do it? Lafayette?
We're gonna probably do it here, either in Gonzales or Baton Rouge. We're gonna try to get into one of the big venues in Baton Rouge, like Chelsea's downtown or the Varsity. But if not, we have a little local place that we play. We can put about 150 people in it, and the lady's like, "You want to have y'all CD release here? We'd love to have you."
Dude,
And last couple times we played there, between the three bands, I think we made about $1,300 to $1,500 at the door.
Okay.
Split between three bands, and it's a good deal. They got a house PA system and a little guy that really knows how to run it, and it sounds really good. So,
well, keep me in the loop and let me know so I can help advertise for that when the time comes, and then also maybe come out there, because you know what, I haven't been to Louisiana since before the plague, and that's like me and my wife honeymooned in New Orleans and went every year for the anniversary, and we just haven't been back, and I miss the food.
Yes, can't beat the food here, brother.
Dude, you cannot beat the food. And my buddy from Choke, He's currently living in Houston now, and I think he posted something on Facebook the other day, and he said something like, "All right, Texas is pretty good at barbecue, but that's kind of it. It's like
That's
you can't make po' boys for shit. You can't do." And he started naming off all this Louisiana food. I was like, he's right. Like, you got to go to Louisiana to get the good stuff.
right.
What's your favorite Louisianan dish? Louisianan? Is that how you say that?
Oh, damn. I
I know,
mean,
I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know, man. I mean, I like taking king crab and boil it in crawfish boil.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that sounds really good,
That's
man.
that's great. That's a good meal there. Of course, I love crawfish and boudin, stuff like that. I mean, who doesn't?
Oh yeah, dude. My favorite place to go is Pierre, the original Pierre Maspero's. Yes, I understand it's in downtown or in the French Quarter, and
Right.
but fuck, I love that place. I love how small it is. And I love the food that they put out. It's like every time I go there, I'm not disappointed, and I can get whatever I want.
Absolutely.
Tasting just fucking perfect. And I'm plugging them, and they're not a sponsor anyway.
I tell you what, man, there's a place here in Gonzales called Pot and Paddle, and their pot roast is to die for.
Really?
Yeah, man, it's great. I'm
I'm,
not even supposed to be eating that much rice, but I don't even care.
I'm writing them down right now, so I know of a place to. Because I'd love to come out and check out your Halloween show. That'd be super fun if I can.
Oh yeah, that'd be
First of
awesome.
all, yeah, I haven't seen you in forever, and then it'd be cool. And then we can do like a little podcast thing live.
Yeah,
That could
that'll
be
work.
fun. Um, okay, so we're gonna move on to a few other things. One of the things you and I kind of talked about briefly was that do you have a collection of dime bag guitar picks, or do you
So
just have
I
a couple dime bag guitar picks?
so I have two guitar picks from
Okay.
Dimebag. One of them is from the 101 Proof concert
No,
in
no,
Biloxi.
no way.
He threw it in the crowd, and I just happened to see the gold reflecting, and I picked that sucker up. You know what I'm saying? Put it in my pocket.
No
The other
way.
one I actually got when Damage Plan played in New Orleans. Like I think it's like 3 months before Dimebag died.
Right.
They were walking out because they had an interview to do the next morning, so they wasn't able to really sit back and. But me and the guy that was my best friend at the time, he was talking to Vinny, I was talking to Dime, and he's like, "Man, I really hate to run, but you know, we got this, and this." I was like, "Look, man, I understand the life of a rock star is always on the go." He reached in his pocket and he pulled out a pick and he handed it to me,
No.
and it's a Damage Plan pick, and I'm like, Jesus Christ,
That
you
is
know what I'm saying?
so cool, dude.
So I got them suckers put up, of course.
Yeah, dude. That's
I'll tell you another
so
thing that I
awesome.
have, man, that's going to be really worth some money one day. So, Phil Anselmo from Pantera's in a lot of different bands.
Absolutely.
He did a band called Christ Inversion. Okay.
Okay.
So, when they were doing the House of Shock down in New Orleans, I went down there. I was in a band called Ring of Thieves at the time. It was like my first big venture into playing music, you know. And I told him about my band, and he said, "Come see me next weekend, and I'm gonna have something for you, and bring a demo of your band." I said, "All right, cool." I go back the next weekend. I bring in my demo. He pulls a tape in a clear case. It's a clear tape. It's got the little, writing on it, and he hands it to me. I look at it, and it's a Christ inversion demo.
Whoa.
So I'm like, "Sign it," and he signed it. So I put it in my pocket. Didn't think nothing about it, right? I got this thing. It's put up. I happen to come across Big Ross that plays keyboards and stuff on the down stuff, Ross
Yep.
Koppelman, and he tells me that Phil doesn't sign autographs. I'm like, I beg to differ. He's like,
Yeah.
if you have anything with Phil's autograph on it, you better keep it. I said,
Yeah.
I have a Christ inversion demo. He looked at me, he goes, there's only 12 of those in existence. I'm like, oh shit,
Damn.
that's awesome.
Dude, that is fucking awesome. That's super cool. Yeah, dude. Every time I ever met Phil, yeah, I have Dimebag's autograph, I have Vinny's
Right.
autograph, I have Rex's autograph. I don't have Phil's.
I have a lot of autographs, man. Rob Flynn from Machine Head,
Yeah.
Jamie Josta from Hatebreed. Uh, you know, I got a couple guitar picks right from Zach Wild, pulled right out of his pocket and handed to us.
Yeah, that's so
I have
sick.
a huge I have this little it's like a little treasure chest
Hmm.
that they did during the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They released
Yeah.
this little treasure chest, right? and it's full of guitar picks from bands.
Dude, that's so fucking sick. I have a little thing over here that I collect them too. Tracy from Choke, Louisiana. I keep bringing up him and me keep talking. We trade guitar picks and stuff, and I didn't really realize that was kind of a deal. But if you have guitar picks that you're like, well, I do have 3 of these, and that guy has Gene Simmons pick from Kiss.
Maybe
All
I
right,
can trade one.
maybe
Yeah.
I could, yeah. And it's actually kind of really fun. It's like a fun little hobby. I'm not as big into it as some people, but it's definitely super fun.
Well, as soon as we get our CD done, man, I'm gonna send you a care package with a t-shirt, bumper sticker, CD, and some guitar picks and stuff.
Dude, thank you. Hell yeah, dude. I'll
Yeah.
send you. I got some stuff I'll send you too, man. Like I see, I'm so into this trading thing, and the trading thing's coming back. Like, you remember the early 90s when
Right.
like the black metal scene, which is something
Right.
I was into, like those guys were trading demos. They were writing each other letters because the internet wasn't really a thing. And they were pen pals,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
like it's coming back. It's coming back full circle. And it's coming back full circle because of things like what we're doing here. We're able to connect. We're hundreds of miles, if not thousands of miles away from each other. And we're
Right.
able to just like talk, connect. All right, let's send each other shit. This is great. And then, it's just, I don't know, it's super fun. And I hope it keeps coming back because we need stuff like this. We need the physical element. If we're not all able to hang out with each other, we need to be able to like still trade shit and have a good
Right.
time and collaborate.
Man, I wish we would have had this back when we started playing in the first place.
No shit.
Like the internet, like, geez.
Yeah, I was in a little internet band for a minute, and we didn't do much, but like the stuff that like when you and I were doing Razor 13, it was starting then,
Right.
but like it's advanced so much now that it's literally like, hey, hang on, all right, there you go, there's the tracks, listen to it tonight, put some scratch tracks down, I'll check it in the morning. And then
Right.
you
Right.
do your thing, send them back to me. And I'd be like, fuck you. Oh, dude, actually, you know what? That's not a scratch track. We're using
That's a
that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's a good track. Right. Right.
And technology is getting really cool. It's also getting a little scary
Yeah.
with all this AI shit.
Yeah. Fuck all that.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, it's like,
I
I
mean,
have
do you want Terminators? Because that's how you get Terminators.
this is
I'm
how
just
you get
saying.
Terminators.
Right. The hell with that.
There's a meme of John Connor from Terminator 2, like looking
Yeah.
looking at you like you're a dumb piece of shit. And it says, this is John Connor looking at you fucking with AI.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude,
That's like the damn scientist trying to reanimate dead flesh. Do you want zombies?
yeah, because
Like,
that's how
really?
you get zombies.
It's like, geez, y'all need to stop messing with stuff, man.
Excuse me. Allergies. I'll cut that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So you have children. How old are your children these days?
Oh shit.
Because they were young back in the day.
Right. So my oldest daughter, Alicia, was born in 99. So she just made 24.
Nice.
And then Haley was born in 2002. So she's 21. Yeah. And my youngest daughter was born in 2004 and she is 19. They're all grown and gone. They all got their, own little lives going on. My oldest daughter and my middle daughter both have babies. One's about to turn a year, and one's about to turn 10 months. A little boy and a little girl.
So you're a granddad now.
Yes. And
that's awesome. Congratulations.
I divorced the woman that I was with when I was singing with y'all.
Yeah.
And I wound up getting remarried. And the one thing she told me when I asked if she'd marry me, she's like, on one condition. I don't have any kids of my own. I'm 37 years old and I want at least one child.
Yeah.
So that's when my son was born, 2014. His name is Phoenix.
Yeah.
And he is the quintessential rocker's kid. Like, he has super long hair. He has he wants to be a singer. I think I sent you the picture of him singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually got on stage with me, man.
Oh yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Look, let me tell you something. As a father, that was one of the greatest moments of my life. I'm sitting there singing as hard as I sing through the microphone, and he's standing next to me singing, and he's louder than me. It's like, shit.
So I have one of my notes here says your son wants to be a singer. So I guess that says it all right there.
Well, we've introduced him to music his whole life, and
Mm-hmm.
started out with classic rock and stuff, and he loves like Skinner and AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and Tom Petty and just all kind of just regular rock and roll. But
Yeah.
as he's gotten older, he's starting to like other stuff. Like he loves Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, but his favorite band is Shinedown. And
Okay.
that's what he's always like. That dude is an awesome singer, and I'm like, you are correct. He's the only reason I listen to Shinedown is because Brent is fucking amazing. He's that 80s style singer in a modern band. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
He's got pipes, man. And
Yeah,
every time we see him play live, it's like he's phenomenal live.
yeah,
Like,
nails
damn.
it.
Yeah.
Remember when he was doing Simple Man before like anyone knew who he was?
Yeah.
And like you're like watching some old YouTube video like when YouTube first started, and you're like, what the fuck? Like why isn't this guy famous? He was in the process of getting famous, but dude,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so good. And he does Simple Man. I don't want to say better. It's in his own way,
It's
and
in his own way.
it's
Right.
it's phenomenal. Tears. Like I could get tears from it. It's so
I
good.
mean, listen, I've listened to them since the beginning. They started out as a regular, radio rock band,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some things they've done along the way that's a little, off kilter as far as being more maybe poppy-ish or whatever. But to listen to this dude sing, you know what I'm saying? Like this dude is the real deal. You can't never take that away from him, whether you like his
Right.
music or not.
Yeah. No,
He's the real deal.
I've been a fan. I've been a fan since the beginning too. And I mean, they got push on us, and I think that like them at the beginning it wasn't bad, but then they started trying to like shove it down your throat, and then I kind of took a little break, but then I circled back and I was like, man, these are still great songs. It's just something that like the record company can do accidentally. They're like, oh well, this is our band, we've got to push them, and then they like
Right.
almost overdo it you
Yeah.
know and so like that's why, but I had to circle back, and I circled back and I listened to all those songs, and everyone on this episode is going to hate me, maybe not everybody, but dude, if you go listen to freaking Nickelback, not all their shit, but some of their shit is heavy as fuck. Like
Some of it is.
some of it's
Listen,
amazing.
I don't particularly care for Nickelback, but I'm gonna
Me
tell you
neither.
like this: I have respect for anybody that gets up there and does it because guess what? They're living the dream that we wish we could.
That's right, that's
I
true.
can't be mad at them. You know
No,
what I'm saying? I just can't.
I think the lead singer of Nickelback was talking about this band when they were up and coming. I think this is the episode, and he's like, "So Stabbing Westward, one of my favorite bands,
I know.
was was that yeah? Oh yeah, it's tattooed right there. But like they had this big bus. They were being pushed by MTV and the record labels and everything, and they let the guys from Nickelback come on the bus, and they were just like, "Holy crap, this is what this could be like."
Right.
And I'm like, oh, what a cool story, because Nickelback obviously blew Stabbing Westward out of the water as far as popularity and fame goes.
Right.
Maybe not necessarily for old Ryan. I don't own a Nickelback record, but I do appreciate their shit sometimes, especially when they start getting heavy. Didn't they
And
didn't they do that one song where they like took a dime solo or a dime bag riff?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did. They did. I just can't think of the name of the song.
There's a song on the Shinedown new record called America's Burning. And if anybody's sick and tired of all the bullshit that's going on in America, that's the song you need to listen to. Because I was on the fence about where they stood as far as what's going on in society when they put out Planet Zero. They kind of hinted, but they was vague about it.
Sure.
They're not vague about it on America's Burning. They let you know
Really?
exactly where they're staying. And I'm
Okay.
like,
See, and I
finally.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Do you know who Tom McDonald is?
I love Tom McDonald, man.
All right, me too. That dude doesn't. He's the thing about him is there's nothing. There's no. He's not lying about anything. He's just like, here's the. Just look at this. Just somebody look at this, and he's presenting it to you, and you're like, yeah, that's fucked up. You're like, yeah, that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. And the
He just
great
came out
thing
with
about
another
it,
one like 2 days ago.
yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm gonna tell you, man, there's a lot of people starting to wake up. They really starting to see what's really going on, and it's great. I mean, I hope I never have to see a revolution in this country.
Yeah,
for as long as I'm alive. But you
right.
know what? If shit keeps going the way it's going, it's gonna happen. So
Yeah, hopefully we can all like start. I think even everybody on both sides is starting to see things,
right,
which is what I hope for our country is that like, okay, whoa, we went too far left. Okay, whoa, we went
we
too
went too
far
far
right.
right, right.
Let's come back and be normal people again because shit went fucking weird for a minute,
Look, I want one simple thing. I'm not gonna say much about the government because
Yeah.
I got one simple thing about the government. I want people that follow our Constitution, and that whenever they don't agree, they can sit at the table and find a happy median.
Yeah.
All this bullshit about, well, you're not gonna do what I want to do, so to hell with you.
Yeah.
That's never gonna work.
Yeah.
This country has always found a way to make things work, and right now we're just in a bad spot.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I agree with you 100%. We got to be able to come back together. There has
Yep.
to be able to we have to be able to sit down and talk to each other versus doing like what they've been doing lately and just
Yep.
saying, well, screw it. We're not doing it at all.
Yeah,
Because I mean, both sides have good ideas, both sides have bad ideas. We just gotta
that's true.
come together.
People ask me all the time, "You Republican or Democrat?" I'm neither. I'm a constitutionalist.
There you go.
That's like my holy grail. The Constitution gives it doesn't give us our rights. It basically tells us what our rights are, and that's what we need to stick to.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Even though it was wrote all them years ago, it's a perfect document. So leave it alone.
Yeah, I think so too. Like everybody keeps saying, like, if you watch the news, they're like, well, our democracy, like, well, hold on a second. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic.
Public. Yep.
So like people are getting desensitized by some of this stuff because of what you see on the news. People are saying, well, our democracy is being threatened. No, walk that back a little bit here. Let's get back to what we really are, which is a constitutional republic.
The thing that trips me out, man, we're in the age of the internet. If you really want to know the truth about stuff, all you got to do is look.
That's true.
It's there.
That's very true.
You got to look with an open mind and be willing to accept some things that you see you're not going to like.
That's true.
That's
true. And some of the stuff that really sucks. Like I had my first video banned on a certain platform. I won't really talk about, but like it was just because me and a buddy were talking our truth, and that platform didn't like it, so cut it out. But what was cool is I was able to go over to Rumble and drop it there with nobody worries about anything. And it's not we weren't saying anything to hurt anybody. We were just having a good old conversation. And I think that the internet can get a little sketchy, especially with some of these bigger tech guys and stuff, which is fine.
right.
It is what it is. You sign, you click that accept button when you join any of their platforms. And if you don't read the 15,000 pages of lawyer speech in there,
right,
and understand that like you don't have free speech there because you don't.
Right.
Like
you don't.
just hit the accept button. You're like, oh, cool. Now I'm on X amount, whatever platform. You're like, oh, this is fun, until they're like, nah, you can't do that. But
well, I just, I think more people need to understand that, everybody's not inherently racist. You know what I'm saying? There are some racist people out there, and that's on both sides. That's on all sides.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I mean, look, I'm a good old Southern boy. I was raised to judge people by their character and judge people by what they do to me. Absolutely. I raised my kids the same way. My kids are not hateful people. I'm not a hateful person. I'll be friends with just about anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to do me something really bad for me to even mention the word hate. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Same boat, dude. We had Razr 13 had a comment on some webpage somewhere that said that we were racist.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. And I was like, by the time I saw that comment, Doug was already in the band. For everybody who's listening, Doug is African American, and he's a fucking wonderful human. And we were like, dude, I wrote back to this guy. I was like, what are you talking about? We have a black lead singer. How are we racist? But I think they had seen something where we had a Confederate flag.
Confederate flags. Yeah, it all comes down to that. But you know what, man? Look, like I said, on the internet, type in African American Confederate soldiers. African Americans fought on the Confederate side too, man. History doesn't want you to know that. obviously they don't want you to know that the first person to ever own slaves in the United States was a black man. Come on, man. Like, let all that stuff go. Let it all
Yeah,
go.
there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of it. Like,
Yeah.
they think that Republicans are racist or whatever. Like, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Democrats wanted slaves. So, like,
Uh KKK.
yeah, Democrats.
I'm
Anyway,
just saying.
that was
Anyway,
200 years ago or whatever. That's a long time ago. We're not trying to get into all that, but
love, peace, and chicken grease, man.
that's
Everybody
right.
get along.
That's right, dude. I have so many friends of so many different races, and I literally, everybody says this, and I always thought it was cliche, but it's true. Like, I don't see color.
I
Like,
don't.
I might say you got a better tan than me, but like, I don't see color. Like, we're all
Well, bro,
people.
I'm coon ass. If I get in the sun, I turn dark as hell. So you know what I'm saying?
I need to get back in the sun. The only parts of, can you tell? This is the
Yeah.
only part that sees the sun. Everything else just turns white. Are you down to get down with some aliens and ghosts?
Yeah.
So I asked this question to everybody, and everybody always says the same thing. But do you know Bigfoot? Have you seen a ghost? Have you ever seen a UFO?
Okay. Which one you want first? The ghosts or
Oh,
the aliens?
I want the Bigfoot one.
Well, I've never seen Bigfoot.
Never met him.
Never met him. Listen. I'm the type of person where I feel like there's got to be some truth to every wise tale.
Sure.
So I'm sure there's something out there. We just never found it. You know, nobody's shown any actual evidence of it,
Right.
like
Yep.
that I know of.
Just a bunch of footprints and a video, the
Yeah,
Patterson Gimlin film, which
I just want to know why all of the videos you see it's always blurry. I want to see a nice clear
always,
picture of him.
always there is a clear photo of something
Right,
from Texas. It's a video of what looks like a Bigfoot on the ground, but it's just a mess of hair on the ground, dude. I mean, bears
right.
come in and out of Louisiana into East Texas all the time, and black bears. Could
That's
have
true.
could have easily been that. I don't think that there's any
Right.
like actual face in there. It's just like some ball on the ground. Oh, it's
Well,
Bigfoot.
my mother-in-law is a huge Bigfoot fan. She has a big
Okay,
old Bigfoot statue in her yard. Like,
nice.
yeah,
Is
she
it's
loves it.
the one where it's like walking?
Yes,
Yeah, I know
yes.
exactly what.
Made out
I
of
want.
concrete.
Yeah, I want one, dude. That's cool. I love that. I
All
need to know
right,
where she
so
got it.
I'll find out for you.
Thank you, sir.
Um, let's talk about ghosts.
Let's talk about ghosts, dude.
Uh,
Louisiana is haunted as fuck.
well, I'm gonna tell you two instances. When I was younger, I had a friend of mine that literally, like she was a ghost magnet, and we were all in my apartment and we were all hanging out, and she would flatten her shirt out, and
Okay.
then you would see handprints touching
What?
her, and she's like, they like the people there like, oh, you faking it. I'm looking at, I'm like, how in the world could she fake this, right? She's like, okay. She put her arms out like this. And this girl, I'm not shitting you, man. She lifted 6 inches off the ground. They picked her up. And everybody in the
Holy
apartment,
shit.
except for her and me, like hauled ass.
Oh,
Like,
fuck yeah, I would have been gone
they
too. I've
fucking
been
out of there, bro.
at least
Okay.
behind the door, peeking back. Like, holy
And
shit.
I'm like, okay, because I mean, I've always said that our family, my family, if we'd been alive in a time of Salem, we'd
Yeah,
all been burned at the stake because all of my family has I don't want to say abilities,
sure.
but it's something along that line.
Yeah.
My sister talks to ghosts. I know
Yeah.
this for a fact. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She told
absolutely.
me something. She told me about an argument that me and my older brother had before he passed that nobody else knew anything about, and she knew exactly what it was about. And she told me he told her. I was like, blew
Whoa.
my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nobody knows that. She's like, how do you think I found out? I was like, oh shit. Me, I
Whoa.
get vibes on people,
Absolutely.
and
Sure.
my vibes are never wrong,
Yeah.
ever, ever, ever. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the second story about ghosts I want to tell you. So my brother passed away at 24 years old.
Hmm.
He was he was he was murdered.
Okay.
And I was at my mother's house about 3 months after he passed, and the way her living room was set up, you sit on the couch, you're watching the TV, but the hall's right here on the side. And I was watching TV, and something in the hall caught my eye, and I leaned over, and it was my brother standing in the hallway.
No fucking
And he
way.
looked at me, and I looked at him kind of like, whoa, and he went, shh. And it looked like he walked into my mother's room. So here I am. I'm going down the hallway.
Fuck yeah, I
I
would
get
be
up to
too.
my mom's door, and I hear her talking. So I knock on the door, and I open it up. I said, Mom, you okay? She said, yeah, baby, I'm okay. I said, who you talking to? She said, I was dreaming that Billy come and visit me and tell me everything was all right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, bruh. Okay. I said, first of all, you're not dreaming. Second of all, I need to know what Billy had on when he died.
Yeah.
She said, oh, you know how your brother dressed. I'm like, no, I want to know specifically what he had on.
Yeah.
She's like, he had on a pair of Nike blue wind pants and a white Nike shirt, muscle shirt. Bruh, that's exactly what I saw in the fucking hallway.
Holy cow, dude.
Blew my fucking mind. I'm like, my
Dude.
brother came to see us after
Yeah.
he died.
Oh.
It was an amazing thing, man, because like I said, we had an argument, and before we could actually talk to each other and make sure everything was cool, he died.
Okay.
So that
Right.
shit had a lot of grief going on about that. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah.
So seeing him and him telling her everything was okay made me go, everything's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, what a great story, dude.
Right.
That's crazy.
Now,
Oh my gosh.
let's dive off into something else because
Okay.
my dad and my stepmom are super religious, and they tell us all the time when we would go out and do stuff, we pray for y'all every time y'all leave the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was on my way to work one day. I was in my buddy's car. We had a little green Toyota Tercel. We're
Hmm.
cruising down the road. Got fucking Metallica cranked up, Dyer's Eve. We're jamming, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I hear a voice say, "Put on your seatbelt." So I look over at my buddy. I was like, "Why?" He said, "Why what?" I said, "Why'd you say put on my seatbelt?" He's like, "I didn't say nothing." So I'm like, "Fuck it, whatever." I'm hearing shit, you know. Get a little further down the road, and I hear it again, but it's louder this time. So I looked at him. I said, "Bro, stop fucking with me." He said, "Dude, I swear to God, I'm not telling you anything." I said, "Do me a favor." He said, "What's that?" I said, "Put on your seatbelt." So he snaps his, I snap mine. We get about 2 miles down the road. There's an S-shaped curve. Get
Yep.
halfway through the S, and a little old man comes across the yellow line and hits us. We hit the bank, and the car flips end over end 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. Dude, the first time we hit, I came this close. Look, it ain't much. Look, that close
Yeah.
to eating the windshield when this fucking seatbelt caught me.
Holy shit.
The roof caved in between us. We jumped out. He looked across the car. He says, "How the fuck did you know that was going to happen?" I'm like, "I have no idea, bro.
Oh
I have
my
no fucking
gosh.
idea." But it just happened. And if I hadn't had my seatbelt on, I would have got fucked up.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you're the second person to tell me a story like that in like the last couple of weeks. Chester Moore told me a story like that. Almost this, not the same thing, but it's very similar. That's crazy, dude. Well, I'm glad the voice told you.
Now let's talk about aliens.
All
Because
right.
this shit trips me out, right? So I'm about 17 years old. I'm at a buddy's house. His dad's got an old Ford LTD. It's me, my buddy's girlfriend, and him laying on the back of the car. We're looking up at the stars, just chilling, talking, whatever. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I see these two lights. They're really bright. They're brighter than stars, but they're really bright. And I'm looking at these things, and the only way that I can explain it to you, imagine put a single white light on two 6-year-old kids in the dark and have them play tag in a park.
Okay.
Like they're chasing each other.
Yeah, right.
Woo, 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 woo. I looked up at that. I looked at my buddy. I said, "Do you see this shit?" And he's like, "Man, I'm going inside." So him and his girlfriend go inside. I stayed out there and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. And under my breath, but I said it out loud a little bit. It's like, I wonder if they could see us. And the lights fucking stopped. And then they were gone. It's like, what
Holy
the
shit.
fuck? Like, did they hear me? You know what I'm saying? That shit's crazy.
Yes.
So look, years later, okay, I'm talking 30 years later, I'm talking to my dad about this. And my dad goes, "Wait a minute, you seen UFOs?" I said, "Well, it I know that we don't have anything that flies like that. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what it is. He said, let me tell you a story. He said, when you was a baby, I went to bring your mom home to go visit her parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, she went inside. I'm sitting in the car with you in the car, and I see a fucking UFO come over the trees and hover over the fucking cornfield. I say, what? He said, yeah, it hovered and it was coming like side to side, side to side. And he goes, what the hell? And it it took off. He said, that's the second time in your lifetime that you've been around UFOs.
Whoa,
I was like,
dude.
what the hell?
Dude, that's so cool, man. I love these stories.
Look, man, I have seen a lot of shit. I mean, we lived in a house when I was little in Baton Rouge,
Mm-hmm.
that the rocking chair would rock by itself.
Oh, that's
They
not
had one of
creepy.
those old school TVs that where you had to pull the knob to turn it on, and this fucker would turn itself on and off. Yeah, look, bro, I'm telling you, like ghost magnets. You know what I'm saying? Look, I've seen some freaky shit in my lifetime. I think the scariest thing I've ever seen is my friends decided that they were gonna go to a fucking graveyard on Halloween night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is a bad idea, right? Absolutely. But I go with them anyway. I'm hanging out, 12 o'clock, like 12 o'clock hits, and I'm looking around going, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's awfully dark out here. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, off in the distance, I see something that looks like it stepped out from behind a tomb. And I'm at least 500 yards from this thing, and it looks taller than the fucking tombs.
Whoa.
And it's got wings. And I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm out.
to hell with y'all. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some really weird shit, bro, in my time. Like some of it I can't explain. You know, some of it I've heard stories of a friend of mine being levitated off the bed. I've heard
Yeah.
stories of somebody being held down and all they could smell was like burning embers
Yeah.
and red eyes holding them down. It's like, what the hell? Like,
Dude.
we absolutely have a dimension between us and another dimension where evil spirits live. And
Sure.
sometimes they
Absolutely.
cross over into our plane and do shit that's unexplainable to the human mind. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, I agree. I agree that I don't know what is going on, but
Right.
like I agree that there's some strange shit that's been going on. Like I'm learning a lot more with jumping on shows like Expanding Reality,
Right.
and learning from these other people that have these crazy woo woo hippie sometimes theories about things. But I'm like, there might be something to that, just like there's something to what you and I are talking about now. There's definitely something going on,
Absolutely.
whether it's multi dimensions, whether it's we're halfway between heaven and hell, whether it's between fucking the human existence was created in a lab by aliens and that's God. I mean, there's all kinds of
There's all kind of
crazy.
stuff.
Who
I
knows what
mean,
it is? But there's
there's
something.
let me dispel something. The earth isn't flat.
Right? Yeah.
I'm so
Check.
tired of hearing that.
Me too.
Like, come on, man. Like, I've been in planes. I've seen the curvature of the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I was taking photos of it too because I was going on a show with a flat earther and I ended up not using the stuff because the guy had some really compelling things to say about the flat earth stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I just used words, but I said the same thing. I was like, dude, I've been in a plane. You can literally see it, like,
Yeah.
I like, but they got some cool stuff like where you're looking out at the ocean and you watch the ship
Disappear
disappear,
over
like
the
there's a
horizon.
over the horizon. Yeah. Going
Or when
down.
they said they gathered information from around the globe, but then they still talking about like you just you just fucked up. Like
Which round? There's like, are we round or are we round? Dude, I love talking about stuff like this. All right. So, well, actually, I want to touch on something because you had said something about the voice that told you to put on the seatbelt. And this is
Yes.
this is my father's story, and I want to share it because I've never shared this on the podcast before.
Okay.
My father worked when he was about 18 years old. He was a welder helper, I guess, or apprentice or whatever it is you call that. And
Right.
he was working on a gas plant in Katy, Texas that they were building. And he'd go in, he'd come out. There's photos of him covered in soot. So like when he was done working for the day, he was black. He was a black man.
Yeah.
And so he's working his ass off. He was working hard, and it was super loud. And so the story goes, he was in there inside this giant thing. Everyone's welding, everyone's banging on stuff. It's so loud you can hardly hear yourself think. And it's dark. And all of a sudden he just heard a voice. He said it didn't sound like anybody he knew. It just said, run. And he listened to it. So he turned and started running. And when he ran, they had dropped a giant vessel, thousands upon thousands of pounds. It had broken off of the crane or whatever and fell. And it fell right where he was standing. And then I believe it bounced, hit him, broke his hip, but he survived. Right. Or I don't know if it broke his hip, but it hurt his knee, it hurt his legs or something in some way. So Dad, sorry, I might be not doing the story justice, but he tells me to this day, and my dad's a big Christian. He's like, that was God telling me to get the fuck out of the way. And I listened, and I was like, holy shit. So there's something to these voices, what it is, like whether it's inside your head and your body, you just kind of know it, or if there's someone trying to help.
I got another one for you. My little nephew was working at a plant. And one day he had this little old man walk up to him and he said, hey, you must be new. And the guy said, yes. He said, but I got some stuff over here that we need to work on. So he went over there. Him and the guy worked on it, right? He said, I'm going to go back over here. He said, wait, you need to stay with me for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So he stayed with him. Then he went back to where he was, and come to find out where he was working at, something had fell where he was at, right? And then he went to go back to talk to the old man. There is no old man.
Whoa.
Nobody knows who he's talking about. Nobody's ever seen him.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I worked with this dude all day long.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you didn't. Are you okay? Like, he's getting to you or something. He's like, bro, what in the world?
Dude, yeah.
I see stuff like that all the time, man.
Another thing with my parents, same deal. We're going on a family vacation in to Colorado. So we're driving through Texas, up through New Mexico, and into Colorado. On the way through Texas, my family's 1990 Dodge Caravan, and I bet you can remember exactly what those things look like, breaks down. Well, we're following my uncle and his family, and I'm being a whiny brat, and my parents are like, well, just go with him. We'll get the car fixed and we'll meet you in Colorado. So I jump in the truck with my uncle and his family and go to Colorado, and my mom and dad and brother stay and try to get things fixed. Well, when they were pulled over, a guy, they somehow got the truck or the van running again and started driving it. It starts smoking really bad. Some guy pulls over behind him and says, let's get you off the road, helps them off the major highway and off into a place where they could get their car worked on. And the guy vanished. Whether it was just a good Samaritan or it was an angel or just somebody there to help, I don't know, but he was gone. He didn't say a word. Nothing. He was just out.
That's awesome, dude. So I love hearing stuff like that, because I don't know, man, it just makes you believe in that, there's other stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff that we still don't know, and we still don't tap into. My boss is he talks about vibrations and, and how we vibrate into another plane and stuff. My boss is really big into that. He sends me stuff all the time, and I'll look through it. I'll listen to it, just to have an open mind and see,
absolutely,
does any of it make sense to me? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
There's a lot of crazy stuff out there.
That vibe stuff is interesting because, again, I keep bringing up Brandon from Expanding Reality, but he's one of my friends, and he touches on a lot of these subjects. And that guy, Ben Carroll from Raw, he does his own thing, which is he makes music at a certain frequency.
Yeah.
And there's man, this is a rabbit hole. We're not going to go down it. I'm just going to touch on it.
Right.
But like at some point, humans transition from how we used to play music into a different frequency of music.
Gotcha.
Mostly for commercial stuff.
Right.
And so we basically just tuned things a little different. But most of music was made at this certain frequency, or at least this is how the story goes. Well, Ben plays this music at this frequency. It's supposed to be healing. Yesterday on my way home, I was like, you know what? I've been listening to it too to go to sleep because it's really good music to fall asleep to. Like, you know, that movie Gladiator,
Yeah.
like where you hear all that, he's walking through the field and he's putting his fingers through the wheat
Yeah.
as he's walking, and it just has this good feeling. That's kind of the stuff he does, except a different frequency. Anyway, long story short, this frequency, there's something to it, man. I was listening to it on the way home yesterday, and maybe it's just because I had the intent to feel better about my day, my situation, my weekend, my whatever.
Right.
Fuck, it felt different. I could feel the vibration in me. I don't know. Maybe that's because that's what I wanted, but it was fantastic. I think there's something to this vibration stuff. We should dive into it more and figure it out.
Yeah, I think music is a lot of things to a lot of people, man. You know.
Absolutely. That's why we're in it.
Oh man, I mean, look, I tell people all the time, if it wouldn't be for music, I don't know where I'd be. Music saved my life a million times over. I mean,
Me too.
you know, my father was always worried that if I got into music, I'd get off into drugs and alcohol, but I wasn't chasing that. I
No.
knew that I had music inside of me. I knew that I was born into it. My dad plays, my mom plays, all my dad's family plays, my uncles and my cousins play.
Yeah.
I just knew I'm going to be a musician. And the first time I got on stage, 2 songs in, and I'm like, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? It's
That's
like I
awesome.
knew, you know.
Dude, that's so cool. Dude, yeah. You know, when I was 5 years old, my parents, I heard, first of all, when I was 5 years old, I think I heard Elvis Presley. This is the first time I remember hearing Elvis Presley anyway. I
Okay.
may have heard it before. And I dancing. I liked it. My parents bought me a little plastic guitar and a little plastic microphone. There's
Yeah.
pictures of me in it. And I was like, and I knew then at 5 that that's what I was going to do, music. And I wish I was still doing it more actively than I am. But I mean, it's music. It doesn't matter because it's still a part of my life. That's why
Right.
this podcast is about. It starts out with us exploring the power of music. You know, it can transport you through time, release emotions. This,
Right.
there's a thing to music. There's a thing to vibrations. There's a thing that when the hair on your arm starts standing up because you just heard the sickest riff you've ever heard, or the words, like you said, like your song, The Bottle,
Yeah.
like that. I cried over that song 1,000 times. I love that song from Black Market Halos. It's just such a good thing. They had the hair on my arm stand up. Alive for Razr 13. It was a great song. Do the same thing. I mean, Metallica, the very first time I ever heard, like, I don't know, One, you
Yeah.
know, it was like, oh my God. And there's countless songs from Metallica that made that happen. But like, there's a thing to this. And I think that that's why people like you and I gravitate towards it, is because there's a purpose for it. There's a, whether it's bringing us all together or just being able to give somebody a message of hope or even despair, you know, because it can go both ways. But it's,
I think it's funny, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they look at metalheads in a different type of light, but they don't seem to understand being in metal. The metal community is more inclusive than any other music community there is.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have white, black, Mexican, Chinese, Vietnamese. We got so many different people that play
Native
metal.
Americans, dude. Have
Yeah,
you seen
man,
that
it's
Native American black metal band, dude? Those guys rock.
yes, indeed, man. I mean, one of my favorite bands that I listen to all the time is Upon a Burning Body. That's 4 Mexican
Yeah.
guys, and they kick ass. You
Fuck
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's
dude.
like, yeah, I dig it.
Dude, this has been so much fun. Hey, I hope you would like to come back on again and talk some more.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Dude, it's been so
I'm
much
sorry
fun
it
to
took so
connect.
long, man. It's just, you know, with moving onto the property and stuff, and I'm actually in our band room, so
Right
you
on.
know,
I see
we
the
finally,
Injustice for All thing up there. I love it.
yeah,
Is that one of the
we,
flags, dude? I got,
yeah,
there's my Metallica one right
and
there.
right there's a Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood flag.
Dr. Feel Good. Ryan, don't sing.
So it's crazy, man. Like when we moved, it took us a year to move on to this property after we bought it.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of small town bullshit, you know, just rigmarole
Oh,
that we had to get through.
sure.
They wouldn't allow me to attach this back to my trailer because I never bought a permit to build this in the first place.
Okay.
So they're like, nobody can live in it. I said, well, I was planning on building a practice room. Can I use it as a band room? Oh, absolutely. Well,
Oh,
all righty then.
that's
Like,
what it is then.
The great thing about it, my nearest neighbor is over 300 and something feet away from me. I can stand in his driveway, and the band can be in here at full live volume,
At
and
11.
I can hear barely a tap 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 of the snare drum. That's it. So if they go inside, they're not
They
going
can't
to hear
hear
anything
nothing.
at all. So I'm like, oh, that works. That
Dude, that's
works.
so cool. If I come out there to see you guys, and I don't know this, but we'll plan it. Oh, excuse me. If I come out there to see you guys, like, and I end up crashing or not, obviously, I mean, just like getting a hotel or whatever. But if you guys have a practice like the night before or something, or just whatever, maybe I'll just come over and hang out, and you can show me the jam room and stuff.
I'll make that happen.
It'll be like old times.
I'll make that happen. We have a little bit of work that we see. When I originally built this thing, I split it into 4 8x10 sections because I had girls and I needed rooms for kids.
Right.
Now we're about to take down that big center wall. And once we take down that big center wall, it's going to be wide open.
Oh, that's going to be so cool.
It's going to be crazy. I got this one little corner right here where I have all my computer and radio and stuff like that. And I left one little closet thing on the other side so we can store stuff. But the other part of it's going to be wide open. And it's gonna be nice, man. I tell you what, I'm tired of renting places, borrowing places. I'm so glad to have my own practice room now. It's something I've always wanted. So it's like, this is a dream come true, man.
Dude, that's awesome. That's fantastic. And I'm so happy for you. Everybody, on that note, I'm going to end this episode of the 13. This has been Shannon of, oh my God, I wanted to say Black Market Halos first. And that is true, but we're going to say branded for Exile.
Absolutely.
And we will see you all on the next one.
Yes.